is CNN Breaking News.
Top of the hour, it is 3 o'clock here in New York, noon on the West Coast, and 10 a.m. in Hawaii, where a terrifying alert went out this morning that turned out to be a false alarm. Thankfully, I'm Ana Cabrera, and you are live in the CNN newsroom. Here is what happened. A statewide emergency message went out ordering people in Hawaii to take shelter because a ballistic missile or missiles were headed to Hawaii for nearly 40 minutes. The people of that state who got that message had reason to believe they were under attack. Thankfully, this was just a false alarm, but the panic and fear was very real. And I want to take you to Hawaii right now, where the governor just spoke. Let's listen in.
Early this morning, an error was made and a false alarm was sent to cell phones and to TV and radio. We investigated, and as soon as we became aware that it was an error, we took action to send the notification that it was a false alarm. This should not have happened. We are investigating the sequence of events that occurred. An error was made in emergency management, which allowed this false alarm to be sent.
Can you explain that error in depth as much as you can?
It was a procedure that occurs at the change of shift, where they go through to make sure that the system is working, and an employee pushed the wrong button.
It came down to a person pushing the wrong button. Who is that person?
Well, it's my responsibility, so this would be my fault. The whole purpose of this is that the change of shift briefing is for each shift to understand what is the process. We'll take action to prevent this from ever happening again by having more than one person there to do this, make this decision, or work on equipment changes. But again, let me finish the investigation. This is my fault, and we'll work on so that this doesn't ever happen again.
Vern Miyagi, the head of HEMA.
I'm the administrator of Hawaii Emergency Management Agency.
Were you here when it happened?
No. This is designed so that we don't have to be here if this type of event happens. We don't want people calling us to get permission when we have such a short time window. This is regrettable. It won't happen again because the criticality of the time on this type of event and the credibility of this alarm going out is critical for us saving lives. So we'll take action to make sure this doesn't happen again.
And certainly, the whole situation is a balance. Right? We do know that under a ballistic missile attack, the time frame allowed for response is very short, and so we have been working at understanding to give the people as much notice as we can. And obviously, there was a breakdown in the procedure that allowed the false alarm to occur. It's regrettable, and we will be looking at all of the policies and procedures that occur at the change of shift and other times that may be vulnerable to make sure that this event does not happen again.
We were at the news station when it happened, and a lot of folks did not know what to do. We tried to get a contact to confirm what had happened, and about 38 minutes later, another alarm went off saying, there was a pretty long lag time to confirm everything.
We need to work on the response time. If anything like this happens, the cancellation got to go out right away. So let me work through that and find out what the process was and why it didn't go out quicker.
Can you tell us why not all cell phones received the alert?
I can't tell you about the equipment-wise, but I think it depends on the carrier. What is the carrier or the company that sponsors that? But we'll review that too, because all of them should have had this.
Sir, under the best circumstances, if they realized a mistake had been made right away, could they have written out a correction and pressed the button to send it out within a minute?
Well, there's a cancellation process that should have gone out right away, so let me get into that and why it didn't go out right away.
Can you tell us anything about that right now?
Not right now. I have to go back and check into it.
And the person who pressed the wrong button, they were by themselves in the room, nobody else around?
It was an inadvertent mistake. The change of shift is about 3 people to 3 people, 24/7, 8-hour shifts. That should have been caught as far as the process it should not have happened. So let me get into that and we'll make sure it won't happen again.
Can you explain, is it as simple as pressing a button, or is it going, through something
There's a checklist that is in place. So that should have been followed, and I'm going to find out why it wasn't or what happened in this. Again, let me assure you that I'm going to look through this, investigate, and this will not happen again.
Was this a failure to plan in the first place before this program ever went into place, not to have a better safeguard?
No, I think we have the process in place. It's a matter of executing the process. Again, it's human error. And I'd like to just make sure that it's a human error. But the process has to be looked at, the procedures have to be looked at again to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
This change in shift routine happens 3 times a day, 7 days a week, 365 days out of the year, and for the most part it occurs flawlessly. There was an error today, and we will be investigating and changing procedures so that we can avoid this from ever happening again.
Yeah. Clearly, there was a lot of panic today, and now if there is another actual alert, there will be much doubt. So what is your message to the people out there who just aren't going to believe it next time?
You know, we understand. I was wakened by the alert like everyone else here in the state of Hawaii. It's unfortunate and regrettable. We will be looking at how we can improve the procedures so it doesn't happen again. You know, we are balancing informing the public as soon as possible. We definitely need to improve our procedures to ensure that when we find that it is an error, that we will be able to issue that as quickly as we inform the public.
You know, I think a lot of people, you know, will be relieved that it was a false alarm, but at the same time, it sort of brings us back and says that this actually is a real threat. You know, that this can actually happen. So.
Yes. I can't paint anything good on this. But again, this is what we experienced today. It happened. We can learn from it and get better in the future.
There's a couple things in the procedure that alerts would go out, and then the sirens would sound to inform people so that we know that not everyone will get notified via cell phones or TV and radio. And the sirens is the signal to tune into TV or radio to get more information. So clearly there would be a process that would occur if it was a real attack. You know, we apologize for the false alarm, and certainly we will be looking at all the changes we need to make to assure that this never happens again.
What did the military? What was the military's role in this morning's?
They were not in.
No, there's no specific military role.
Yeah.
Well, I was with the Adjutant General at Hickam Air Force Base for a meeting, and as soon as we got the alert, First General Logan contacted USPACOM to verify that was a false alarm. Once we had confirmation, that's when we started working through notifying the public.
Do you guys all, when that alarm went off, do you guys have a procedure that you guys contact the civil defense and they give whether or not it was, you know, a false alarm or true or not?
Yes. So we did both, confirming with Hawaii Emergency Management Agency and with the United States Pacific Command.
So the military leaders you were with, they got the alert.
Correct.
They must have been quite
Yeah,
surprised.
we're in a meeting, and about 10 people all at the same time got the alert, and everyone's looking down, and the first thing we did is start contacting the appropriate personnel.
Yeah.
I wanted to clarify an earlier question. So what should the public do? The bottom line is, if there's an alert like this that occurs again, take the appropriate action. Get inside, and stay tuned. If there's an all clear given, that's how you'd be notified through the media. So we just urge the public to keep with that 3 things.
Thank you. I imagine there will be some follow-ups. Are you guys offering any other media availability today? If you learn more about it, there's still a lot of unanswered questions.
If anything else happens today, we'll send out a release or an advisory.
Okay.
We'll keep you guys in the loop.
Okay. Thanks so much. Send us back and get the word out.
Again, just moments ago, we were hearing there from state officials, including the governor of Hawaii, about exactly what happened to result in a false alarm being sent out that a ballistic missile or missiles were headed to Hawaii. It took 38 minutes before a correction was actually sent out via the same system that sent out the original message. The original message said this was not a drill, which sent people into panic. I want to bring in our global affairs correspondent, Elise Labott, here. So, Elise, a couple of takeaways here. Obviously, a huge sigh of relief that this warning appears to be some kind of a mistake, that somebody pushed the wrong button, is what we've just learned. But the bottom line is it scared the whole state of Hawaii a whole lot.